There's now confirmation that a 67-year-old man has been found dead in the firegrounds in eastern Victoria. His body was found at his burnt-out home in Buchan in East Gippsland. Conditions have eased slightly today, allowing authorities to enter the fire zones to assess the damage. Andrea Crothers is at Barnsdale and joins us live now. Andrea, heartbreaking news coming out of Victoria, and there are still people missing.
Charlotte, it truly is awful now that 67-year-old Mick Roberts, he was a beloved great-grandfather, he was known as a larrikin, and he had been staying to defend his home in Buchan when he was found this morning by his nephew. So truly tragic. As for the 4 others that remain missing, many for quite a number of days now, we still do not know where they are or where they're from, and authorities saying they simply haven't been able to get into lots of the areas that they were last seen. Now, I did speak to a friend of one of the elderly men who is missing, and he lives off of property on the edge of the Snowy River National Park. Now, he says that he hasn't been seen since Sunday.
Oh, look, I'm not going to become a commentator on whether people are in a position to be able to survive 2 or 3 days. At the moment, you've got patchy comms, so power's off, mobile phones are out in lots of different places. These are isolated communities, many of them. They're very small communities, and some of the people who are missing, we simply don't know what has happened to them, or we can't therefore speculate other than to say we do have grave fears for their safety.
That was Premier Daniel Andrews. Today he was in Barnsdale visiting the many people at the relief centre who fled the fire zone and still haven't been able to return home. But if we go up to Mallacoota now in the far east of the state, it's a very different story. There you've got people who were stranded, who are stuck inside the fire zone and unable to get out. Now, it's been another restless night for those people there.
We were able just to go back to our car and just waited out there. And while we were sitting there, we could just see all the fires all around us, and it was terrifying. I hope I never, ever have to go through that again.
It's heartbreaking, but we'll go on.
The tiny town is almost unrecognisable as locals get back to try and assess the damage and look down that harrowing prospect of having to restart all over again. Now, the reason that many people there haven't been able to leave is the Princes Highway, the main road in and out of that area. Well, it's been severely damaged by fire. Now, what's happened, we've had trees falling on it, melting to the bitumen. It's going to take a lot of time to get fixed. So it's actually at the point now where the HMAS Choules has been brought in to try and take people out by sea.
We're exploring all our options in relation to Mallacoota, and certainly to look at evacuating some people from Mallacoota by sea is an option that we're seriously considering at the moment. We have thousands of people in isolated communities at the moment. I don't have an exact number, but there's thousands. You know, again, we talk about 4,000 at Mallacoota, but there would be thousands of people.
Now, Charlotte, I'm just north of Bansfield at the moment. As you can see behind me, this landscape is completely scorched. Now, also up the road from me is the Clifton Creek State School, which we got the sad news yesterday that it had been destroyed. Now, today, some residents in this area, as well as Sarsfield, have been allowed to return home. And for many, they've been discovering the tragic news that they don't have a home to go to. Now, meanwhile, the other concern is come Saturday when we do see those conditions rear up again. Now, whilst we can see this area here is burnt out, there's many areas around here which aren't. So we've actually had fireys working really hard the past day to take advantage of those cooler conditions and do a lot of backburning and effectively fill in the gaps, because they say that really these communities here could be under siege once again come Saturday.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a very testing time ahead. Hopefully they aren't as bad as the forecast. Thanks for the update there, Andrea.